I want to welcome to the program right now from Wyoming, Congresswoman Cynthia Lummis. Congresswoman, thank you for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure, Kim.
It's great having you on the program, and it's great. I got to tell you, it's great to see you getting involved and you paying attention to what's going on with this issue of the re-importation of M1 Garands, U.S. made, that we sent to South Korea. Now they would like to send them back to the United States, but the Obama administration says no, right?
That's correct. So I filed the Collectible Firearms Protection Act. So that would reverse the Obama administration's decision to block the import of those American-made rifles that were used in South Korea for collectors and for use in competitions, shooting competitions.
The State Department, I understand, says that the reason why they won't let these guns back into the United States is that they're afraid they might be used for, quote, illicit purposes, even though every gun sold would have to go through a FFL, through a firearms dealer, right?
Oh, and these are legal to own in the United States.
Right.
The vice president called them military-grade weapons, but quite frankly, they're manufactured and sold in the U.S. now. It's just that these are historic because they were World War II era rifles. So they're pieces of military history, and as you know, there are a lot of American collectors. They're really popular rifles in marksmanship competitions, including the federally chartered civilian marksmanship program. Mm-hmm. And the military even donates these rifles to that civilian marksmanship program for sale to the public. So there's not much rational thought behind the notion of preventing their importation and sale.
In other words, in your opinion, is this just a purely anti-gun move?
Yes, it is. These M1 carbines and M1 Garands, or Garans, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, were used, as I said, made in America, used in South Korea during the Cold War. President Reagan authorized the importation of 200,000 of them from South Korea. And now South Korea would like to import more because they're popular with collectors in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And South Korea still has in their possession over 800,000 of the M1 carbines and 80,000 of the Garans. So this is something that would be used, as I said, for collectors. They are, under the law, curios and relics, not to be used for illicit purposes, which, of course, is just a ruse to prevent any gun importation into the U.S.
Well, it sounds to me like this would be a pretty popular piece of legislation. Are you attracting co-sponsors yet?
I have 27 co-sponsors, and I'd love to have your listeners who would contact their members of Congress to sign up for this bill and co-sponsor it. It's called the Collectible Firearms Protection Act. But even if you just tell them that Congressman Lummis has a bill to allow U.S. firearms to be imported from South Korea for collectors, that should be enough to let their staff know that this is just a good military history collection effort and an effort to bring more of these rifles into the U.S. so they can be used in these marksmanship programs.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I know, Congresswoman, you also signed on to the letter telling the Obama administration, let the UN know that this UN Arms Trade Treaty isn't going anywhere. There's no support for it in Congress. Are you hearing from your constituents on this issue?
Yes, my constituents, I have a really informed constituency. There are a lot of people who follow these issues in Wyoming. Obviously, we cherish our entire Bill of Rights, especially our Second Amendment rights. So I hear from people all the time in my home state of Wyoming about concern that the current administration just is not protecting our Bill of Rights, the very incidences of American freedom that are embodied in the Bill of Rights, and that includes our right to keep and bear arms. And unfortunately, Secretary of State John Kerry signed the UN Arms Trade Treaty which has the potential to impose internationally determined limits on Second Amendment rights. And it could also inhibit our ability to provide arms to key allies. So we want to make sure that the U.S. Senate does not ratify this treaty and that our Bill of Rights remains the backbone of the American rights of freedom and liberty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, Congresswoman, I appreciate you coming on the program this afternoon, and thank you so much. Hope we can do it again.
I hope so, too, Cam. Thanks for your good work protecting our Second Amendment rights and keeping people informed about the importance of doing so and getting involved on these issues.
I appreciate it, Congresswoman. Congresswoman Cynthia Lummis joining us from Wyoming.